Guys, it is 3:30. Yeah.
Big step with the icy watch. I am your leader, yes I am your leader. Not a believer. Yo.
My interest in politics comes from having grown up in a life that was filled with a lot of injustice, and in an environment in a world where I saw a lot of people who also experienced the same things. I think that there's an inherent part of me that roots for the underdog and wants to do something for my fellow man, and I think that that comes from the way that I grew up. My earliest memories were of my father and mother taking me to various people's homes. I thought they were strangers, but might have been friends, I'm not even sure. Because of the work that they did, they felt that it was unsafe for me to grow up around them, and that to me was a great injustice. My father was a taxi driver, my mother was a teacher. I come from a typical South African home. Watching my family and watching people that I loved around me grow up like that made me feel very helpless and very voiceless, and I think that that's probably one of the things that propelled me into a profession, or to have a passion for a profession that would actually seek to help other people. I started school in 1994, the first year of our democracy, and I think that despite what people say about 95 being the year that heralded this new South Africa, this rainbow nation, for me psychologically the impact of that year of democracy and people voting, to see your parents feeling proud of walking in places where they hadn't really been allowed, or at least had felt very comfortable doing so, has a deep resonance of what that meant. And I think that that was the first and possibly last time that I ever felt in South Africa that we were pulling for something together as a nation, and it didn't matter who you were or what you were about, you could feel it in the environment of the country. And I think that that particular feeling has always stayed with me, and that's what I want to try and achieve, or that's why I'm in politics, because I think that that was a great time in our country's history, and it's something that I think we need to have again. I think being a councillor has really been possibly the most rewarding part of my political career. It's one of the best ways that you can actually directly influence or directly make a difference in somebody's life. A few months ago I gave a man, or I helped a man to get his ID who hadn't had an ID for 90 years of his life, hadn't been able to get pensions, hadn't been able to have a house, anything really. And to see him now almost starting his life again at 90 is an incredibly rewarding feeling. But the kind of work that councillors do, I think, is the kind of work that can both make you feel so incredibly optimistic about the world and humanity, because you see how people who have almost nothing in the communities that you work in also have this great sense of hope and optimism about where South Africa is going to go and how they can contribute and what they can do, and they care about their communities and they want to build them up, and you want to be there with them to do that. But at the same time, I think sometimes it can be an incredibly depressing thing when you see young children who, you know, haven't got opportunities, or when you walk around in places and it's dirty and people are hurt because there are broken bridges, and just the contrast of that, I think, makes you as a human being feel very emotional. It's a very emotional position as a politician. And you see all types of things. You see people who are growing weed in their houses. You see people who have become entrepreneurs, whether it's, you know, having a tuck shop or having some sort of trade. In my ward particularly, the big thing is people have goats from the Eastern Cape that they sell around. And you see the enormous amount of work that you can contribute to helping people in these communities, and that's what I always wanted to do, and so I'm very happy in my role as councillor.
Drop the top topper, big step with the icy watch. I am your leader, yes I am your leader.